Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next part. The lawyer cleared his throat. Your mother left the house, the savings, and the land to your brother and sister. No one looked at me. They didn't need to. My sister's smile was small but satisfied. My brother leaned back like this was the most obvious outcome in the world. I nodded once. I had prepared myself for grief after my mother's death, for memories, for regret. Not for erasure. My sister spoke first. You were never really around anyway. Mom knew who actually cared. My brother added, you always kept to yourself. She felt closer to us. I didn't argue. I didn't remind them who paid the hospital bills when they couldn't manage. Who took unpaid leave to sit beside her during chemotherapy. Who slept on a plastic chair while they visited on weekends with flowers and photos. I just listened as they rewrote history in front of me. The lawyer shuffled the papers. That concludes the will. My sister exhaled in relief. My brother stretched like a burden had lifted. For them, this was closure. For me, it was clarity. People don't remember quiet sacrifice. They remember loud presence. I stood up. That's fine, I said calmly. They looked surprised. I think they were waiting for anger, tears, accusations. Instead, they got peace. And peace confused them. I reached the door when the lawyer said, wait, there's one more thing. He lifted a small sealed envelope. Your mother left this separately. It's addressed only to you. The room fell silent. My sister frowned. What is that supposed to mean? I was told to give this to him privately, the lawyer replied. I walked back, took the envelope, and thanked him. It was thin, light, almost meaningless. My brother scoffed. Probably an emotional letter. She always felt bad for you. I smiled, slipped it into my jacket pocket, and said nothing. To them, the real things were already decided. Property, money, ownership. They thought the story had ended in that room. I walked out quietly, the envelope resting against my chest. I didn't open it in the parking lot. I didn't open it in the car. When I reached home, I placed it on the table and stared at it. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel sad. I felt awake. Time moved quietly after that day. I didn't open the envelope immediately. For a week, it stayed on my table while I went to work, came home, cooked simple meals, and slept without dreams. I wasn't avoiding it. I was allowing the noise inside me to settle. Silence has a way of clearing thoughts that anger never can. Meanwhile, my siblings were busy. I heard from relatives how they had already started discussing renovations to the house, how they argued about who would take which room, how the land might be sold for better profit. Their voices were loud again, full of plans built on something they believed was secure. I said nothing. At work, I began taking extra shifts. Not because I needed money, but because I needed focus. I enrolled in a certification I had delayed for years while caring for Mom. I stopped checking family group chats. I stopped explaining my absence. Days turned into weeks. One evening, I finally opened the envelope. Inside was not a letter. It was a photocopy of a document and a short handwritten note. I know they will misunderstand many things. This will explain what I could never say out loud. The document was dated 8 months before her death. I read it once, then twice. And then I just sat there, staring at the wall. Everything I thought I knew about that will shifted. I didn't rush to call anyone. I didn't confront my siblings. I didn't even call the lawyer. Instead, I made an appointment. Quietly. Meanwhile, the cracks had already begun on their side. I heard they were disagreeing over money, that my brother wanted to sell quickly while my sister wanted to move in, that small arguments were turning into big accusations. Old childhood rivalries were waking up again. The same house they celebrated inheriting had become a battlefield. And I was nowhere near it. I spent my evenings studying, working, and organizing papers. My movements were calm, deliberate. I wasn't trying to prove them wrong. I was preparing for something they didn't even know existed. They were still talking about me. A month later, we met again in the lawyer's office. This time, no one was smiling. The lawyer placed a new document on the table. Your mother signed this 8 months before her death. My siblings leaned in. Him, the lawyer said, pointing at me. She named him the sole controller of everything. Silence fell.